Dying. People wouldn't know whether to go or to stop their cars. The lights are there in order to protect people.
Well,
Same thing with
that's
signs.
logic already. Common sense would be.
Yeah, yeah.
If you think that if you go that way, that's the right way, then you can go.
Yeah.
If you don't, then not.
Mm.
It's like if you believe.
Yeah. But essentially, God, is right in a sense that God, He's created His laws to protect us in a sense, because God knows the consequences even of adultery. One of His laws, He says, "Thou shalt not commit adultery." Why? Because He knows what the end result of committing adultery is. It destroys the family. Children grow up in broken homes. Wives, they die of a broken heart. So God knows the consequences of committing adultery. So His laws are there to protect us, and also because He loves us and doesn't want us to be harmed. But essentially, all of us, we've lied, we've stolen, committed adultery by looking at people we're not married to. So now it begs the question, how can God let you into heaven if you've sinned? You've broken His law. And that is the bad news. But the good news is this: God has made a way for all of us because He's love. He's a loving God. He wants us to be saved from the consequences of our sin. Has made a way for us to escape. It's kind of like I come to you, I take your cell phone, I break it, and the next day I come to you, I say, "I'm sorry." The fact of the matter is, it doesn't change the fact that the cell phone is broken. It's either I replace the cell phone or you replace the cell phone. The same thing in the city of Toronto. If you break the law, you get jail time. How much more God's law? You get hell time. So essentially, God has to do what is right on the day of judgment. He has to punish murderers, rapists, pedophiles, Hitlers. But what about liars, thieves, and adulterers? That will be every single person. So nobody will make it in. You see? But the good news is this. Just as I use the analogy, breaking the cell phone, someone has to pay. Same thing with God. Someone has to pay for sin. It's either you will pay for your sin on Judgment Day, or God has made a way for you to be saved. That's where Jesus Christ comes. Jesus Christ hangs on the cross. He is suffering the consequences, the payment, the punishment that you deserve. He's paying it essentially for you on the cross.
Is there any truth that he was actually hung on a tree?
Yeah.
Not on a cross?
Yeah. So much historical evidence.
Yeah.
Josephus wrote about him. He was
not a Christian.
not even a Christian.
Historian.
Yeah. So many historians wrote about him. You're saying this man who was Jewish, they said he even performed magic. Because they didn't believe that the miracles were of God. They said it was magic. He was crucified under Pontius Pilate, the governor at the time. So the Bible becomes very, very specific as to the details of what happened. It was a real historical event.
Let me tell you something else about Jesus. When you read the Quran talks about Jesus Christ more than it talks about Muhammad. So it means that the Bible validates the testimony of Jesus Christ. I mean, the Quran validates the testimony of Jesus Christ. So is the Hinduism, is it Gita that is in that? Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, I just something popped into my head about the flat earth, right? And being not a flat, actually being a planet, not a plane, being in the universe. That brings another question. What about other sentient life, beings, right? What happens then, right? So see, in a way, there's just something about it just makes me think twice.
I will tell you this.
Believe, because that creates a whole new problem, right? Because then, what happens then? Okay.
Yeah.
If we're actually on a planet, right? It's a lie that perpetuates so many other lies. If it is a lie, right? So I find it very, very skeptical about that part. Nothing you said except for the flat Earth and not being a plane but actually a planet. That's why I doubt it, because there's so many things that work to the advantage of Satan or whatever you want to call it. If it is a lie, it's being a planet, not a plane.
I will say this, that there is life on this life, there is also life outside of this universe. People say they call it aliens. I would say they're demons, fallen angels that come and they enter into this earth and they do things. They show things, wonders in heaven. If you study the hieroglyphics in Egypt, they show that there were these enlightened beings that came down and gave men knowledge to build the pyramids. If you look at different places around the world, you'll see giants giving men knowledge. So the Bible does say that there was a time where these spirit beings came down to earth and they gave men knowledge, and also they cohabitated with men, slept with men and women, and they produced giants. So there is life outside this universe.
My
People
question
call it
was
aliens.
more, so you think then we're God's only creation and all the humans?
No, I don't believe that.
So you think there's another type of
Yeah,
life
I'll say
besides